On the night of October 29th, 2023, in a quiet village outside Cambridge, England, Can Hammond was strangled to death in her own bedroom. No forced entry, no stranger, no random violence, just her husband of nearly 30 years, a life insurance policy worth £450,000, and a web of lies so elaborate that Robert Hammond had convinced himself he could get away with murder. From the outside, their life looked perfect. A successful marriage, 2 daughters, properties, businesses. But something had gone terribly wrong behind closed doors. Can Hammond was born in Wales in November 1976. She excelled academically, earning a BSc honors degree in biochemistry and building a career as a research scientist. Robert, known locally as James, left school at 16 with few qualifications. He worked market stalls and furniture shops before finding success in financial services. They married at 18 and moved to Cambridge, settling in Histon Village. Can stepped away from her career to raise their 2 daughters, later returning to work as a financial advisor and running the family businesses. By 2023, Robert owed more than £300,000 to Legal and General HMRC and other creditors. He hid this from Can using a complicated web of bank accounts. He told creditors he had cancer, that he had suffered a mental breakdown, and that Can herself was hospitalized. Every statement was false. The judge later called him a habitual and accomplished liar. Selling their properties could have cleared the debts, but that would mean admitting failure. The humiliation was unthinkable to a man who had built his identity on success. Can held a life insurance policy worth £450,000. On October 25, 2023, 4 days before her death, Robert paid the arrears on the policy. On October 26th, he searched his laptop for information about how much diazepam would constitute a lethal overdose. He knew Can sometimes took diazepam for anxiety. One of their daughters was flying home from Switzerland that weekend, and Can always worried when the girls traveled. He was already researching how to kill his wife. On Sunday, October 29th, Robert made another search. He looked up how to disconnect the passenger airbag in a Ford Focus of a specific age. One family car matched that description. Can sometimes rode in the passenger seat while Robert drove. The judge concluded Robert was actively considering multiple methods of killing his wife. A staged overdose or a car crash engineered to look like an accident. That same weekend, they went out for dinner with friends and spent time together in their home gym. Late on October 29th, in their bedroom, Robert wrapped his bare hands around Can's throat and strangled her. The forensic evidence showed sustained compression lasting a minute or more. Can fought back. Defensive injuries were documented on her face and arms, gripping injuries on her arms and trauma to the back of her head. She did not go quietly. She resisted with everything she had. She did not survive. Robert was wearing his Whoop fitness tracker, which recorded 20 minutes of elevated heart rate around the time Can died. The Whoop device went dark shortly after the killing, suggesting Robert removed it. Just before 2 a.m. on October 30th, he called 999. He told the dispatcher he had found Can face down on the bed, not breathing. When instructed to perform CPR, he gave every impression of complying. He was not complying. The judge later found he staged the performance for the dispatcher. Paramedics who attended formed the view that no CPR had been attempted. Can Hammond was pronounced dead at 2:35 a.m. PC Richard Jenkins arrived at 4:18 a.m. and noticed bruising, marks on Can's body, and a broken picture frame at the top of the stairs. Robert was vague about timings. The post-mortem established strangulation as the cause of death. Home CCTV showed no one entered or left during the night. The investigation examined financial records, browser histories, fitness tracker data, and communications with creditors. In the days after Can's death, Robert contacted Legal & General about using the insurance payout to clear his debts. Robert Hammond was arrested on November 10, 2023. At trial, his defense raised natural causes, cardiac events, and seizure-related explanations. The judge stated there was not a shred of evidence for any natural cause. On July 17, 2024, the jury returned a unanimous verdict of guilty. He was sentenced to life imprisonment, with a minimum term of 24 years. The court found he had researched overdose methods and airbag disconnection before committing the murder, and had paid the insurance arrears just days before. The aftermath extends far beyond the courtroom. Robert murdered not just a wife, but a mother. His daughters lost Can violently in the most intimate betrayal, killed in their childhood home by their father. They wrote letters to the court in his support. Can's mother and sister also asked for leniency. These are people trying to hold together a shattered family. Can Hammond was a biochemist, a businesswoman, a runner who completed her first 10K race, and a woman described as one of the friendliest people ever known. She deserved better.